Hello my beautiful little unicorns and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that I've been given the pleasure to welcome you onto my channel, I'm Vanessa Samina and welcome to the fam. So you guys, today's reading is all about messages from the universe that you need to hear right now. My beautiful little unicorns, I have prepared 4 groups that you can choose from in order to figure out exactly what you need to hear right now and exactly what is of importance in your life. So if you're interested to figure out what these messages may be, then be sure to pick one of these 4 groups in front of you. So we have the black obsidian, we have the red jasper, we have the zebra jasper, as well as the white aragonite. So for any of you who are new and may not know how this works, the timestamps are down below in the description box, and I also always post them in the comment section. So once you've chosen your group, you can just click your corresponding timestamp to fast forward to your reading and hear what I and the universe have to say to you right now. And regarding choosing one of the 4 groups, I just want to let you know that there's absolutely no shame in the multiple groups game. So if you somehow feel like you cannot make up your mind as to which group you should choose, then feel free to tune into multiple readings. And you guys, in my last video, I let you know that I would be answering a few questions during the intro. So one of the questions that was really popular in my last video, where I told you guys that my pronunciation isn't always perfect, is how many different languages I speak and what kind of languages that I speak. So I grew up bilingual, or trilingual if you will. So I grew up speaking German as well as English and Swiss German. And French is an additional language that I had in school for like, I think 10 years or something. So I could hold a conversation, so that counts. Right? Yeah, I'd say that counts. So some of you are wondering what the difference is between German and Swiss German. So German, or as we say here in Switzerland, High German, is spoken in Germany, and Swiss German is exclusive to Switzerland. So yes, German is spoken in Switzerland as well, which is more formal, but as kind of like a dialect, we have Swiss German. And there is no official like written form of it. And if you don't grow up in Switzerland or around somebody who speaks it, then it's practically impossible to learn. I don't think that there would be like schools to learn that. So yeah, you guys, I hope that that answered the language question. But I am super excited to get into your reading about exactly what you need to hear right now. So if you're new to my channel, then make sure that you tune into 1 or 2 or 3 of these readings before you decide to subscribe. But if you resonate with the reading and you can kind of vibe with what's going on my channel, then make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos that could be super relevant to your life. So yeah, you guys, I'm gonna get straight into the readings, and I'm going to be starting off with the first group, and the first group corresponds to the black obsidian. Hello group number 1 and welcome to your reading. So you chose the black obsidian group number 1. So I want to first start off with why you may have chosen this stone. So it's very clear that you may have chosen the black obsidian for its appearance. Maybe you're somebody who really likes all black everything. I mean, I know I'm a big fan of black, but another reason why you may have chosen this stone is because you need sort of like a detox of negativity. This stone is a highly protective stone, and it also helps cleanse any sort of spiritual smog. So maybe you're needing some spiritual cleansing and purification of your air and your surroundings, but maybe you just need this to keep negativity away from you. But let's move further into your reading to figure out exactly what you need to hear right now in correlation to the black obsidian. Okay, so group number 1, within your reading, we have imagination, we have the door to value, we have the stag spirit, the healer of the ages, the antelope spirit, victory, the skunk spirit, deceit, the squirrel spirit, as well as action. So I want to get straight into your reading. One thing that I see that you need to hear, that the universe is trying to communicate with you, is that you have to sort of envision a new reality. You have to create your reality through imagination. So group number 1, you may be the kind of person who feels like, you know, manifesting the law of attraction, it's all good and dandy, but at the end of the day, you know, it's not going to get you exactly what you want. And that is true. Manifesting, the law of attraction, all of those sort of spiritual theories that a lot of them are scientifically proven, but some of them are also just basically you believing. I 100% agree with you. You need to put in hard work, dedication, passion. You have to also have a little bit of imagination. You need to think a little outside of the box in order to get to where you want to go, because only through, you know, hard work and putting yourself out there can you actually get to the next steps in life. So as I said, manifesting is fine, but if that's all that you're doing, or just sort of wishful thinking, that is obviously not going to get you to your dreams and out of your comfort zone. So give yourself permission to dream. Definitely do not take that privilege away from yourself, but at the same time, you know, while believing in sort of unlimited potential and unlimited things that you can accomplish, make sure that you pair that up with the necessary steps. And that is what I see in action. You know, I see that the universe is trying to communicate with you that now is the perfect time to take action. There's a reason why action showed up in your reading, and there's a reason why the universe wants you to know that you have to take inspired action. So the inspiration you derive from imagination, and then action, you know, the energy for it is what you derive from the actual action card that has showed up in your reading. So move forward confidently, okay? It is your time. It's a time for you to take action, to push forward, and to use any sort of imaginative strategies that you come up with in order to be victorious. And that is one thing that I see in victory and the door to value. I see that there are new doors opening, and don't be afraid of any sort of deceit, okay? That is one thing that I see here, is that you're maybe somebody who is a little bit worried about, okay, what about if you come across somebody, maybe platonic, a business partner, or somebody that you're interested in being in a romantic relationship with, and they're deceitful, they're not telling you the truth, and in the end, they sort of start sabotaging how well you can achieve victory and how close you come to this door of value, and if you are even able to walk through your door to value. So don't be worried, group number one. I want you to know that there are different ways how you can sort of avoid deceit or not let deceit affect you. So if you're dealing with somebody that you feel may be deceiving you or stringing you along, or that you feel may eventually turn as soon as a door to value opens, you know what I mean? Like that person where you feel like as soon as a door to value opens for you, as soon as you're victorious, they have turned on you in the past, or they might. You already have this sort of intuitive feeling, and it is completely okay to feel that way. I don't want you to feel embarrassed about your feelings, because often when we instinctively feel a way, there is some truth to it. There is something to it that gives you the right to feel that. There is something there that is obviously making you feel that way. So obviously it could be the vibration of deceit, but it also could be something completely different that is throwing you off, that your mind just instinctively thinks, okay, this cannot be true, this is deceit. So I want you to know that within these sort of scenarios, within these feelings that you may amass with certain people in your life, you just have to believe in yourself as well as know your worth. So knowing your worth is not only telling yourself, oh, I'm amazing, I'm awesome, I'm beautiful. Knowing your worth is also knowing that you have to go after the things that you want and not let anybody come in between you and those things. And knowing your worth has everything to do with also drawing up contracts. So that is one thing that I find so important when you're working, collaborating, doing things with other people, where you get your finances involved, where, you know, money will eventually be involved, and where it's basically not just a fun thing. So be very confident and know that yes, it is totally worth drawing up a contract. It's totally worth two people signing a piece of paper to protect you. And that is what I want you to be doing, group number one. That is one thing that you need to hear in order to protect yourself from deceit or from anybody who doesn't have your best intentions at heart, or who you know might sort of flip-flop, because that often happens when money, power, and success is involved. All of a sudden things change, and if you're working with somebody when it comes to that, make sure that you protect yourself. Make sure that you go that extra mile to keep yourself sane, because emotionally, you know, when a door to value opens for you, it is great, it is amazing, but it can also come with a little bit of baggage, and that is something that you will already be dealing with. So make sure that you're not putting extra stuff on your plate that you don't need, group number one, because stress just gives you wrinkles, and we don't want any of those. Not that aging is a bad thing, but we don't need to accelerate it. You know, wrinkles is just what is on the outside showing that you're aging, but what happens on the inside, what goes on behind, you know, behind this flesh and skin, you don't really know. So make sure that you take care of yourself and see sort of external aging as just like kind of like a pinpointing at what is going on internally, and try to avoid that, okay? Like you're supposed to put on SPF every day to protect your skin from aging, put on sort of mental cleansers every day in order to keep yourself sane spiritually and in order to mentally protect yourself from aging. So that may be why you've chosen the black obsidian, because you need that cleansing of negativity. You need to keep it far away from you in order for you to stay fit mentally and emotionally. So in the healer of the ages, I definitely see that that is somebody who is with you right now. That is somebody who is giving you spiritual support. The healer of the ages helps you go through any sort of difficulties that you have in life through just emotional healing and keeping you in a spot where you feel comfortable, where you feel emotionally like you're safe, like you're not vulnerable, so to say. So one thing that I see is that you have to take the lead. So while the healer of the age is here to protect you and is here to give you emotional and spiritual support, in the stag spirit, I see that it is of super high importance for you to now take the lead, because life will be speeding up, and it'll be speeding up in an amazing direction as long as you make sure that you protect yourself from deceit and that you focus on being victorious through imagination and then turning that into action. So any of the ideas that you have, write them down. Think of how you can make it work instead of why it won't work. And group number one, I want you to know that this is something that I get in the stag spirit. This is something that I learned from Robert Kiyosaki. You may know of him. You may have heard of the author of the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So he says that when you think of all the ways why something won't work, that closes the mind, that closes the conversation. But when you think about all of the reasons why something should work or will work, or how you can make something work, how you can afford something, how you can build a business, how you can find love, that opens the mind, that opens the conversation to new facets, to new places that you would have never discovered if you would have just closed the mind by saying, oh, this is why it's not working. So imagination has everything to do with that. Opening the mind, opening yourself to thinking of possibilities, how you can make something work instead of thinking of all the reasons why it won't work. So believe in yourself. That is what I see in the squirrel spirit group number one. Don't let doubt get the best of you. Don't let fear get the best of you. Know that you're protected, and know that it is so essential for you to keep your mental conversation open to figure out exactly how you can make things work instead of thinking to yourself why it won't work. So stay confident, stay positive, and keep pushing forward, group number one. So group number one, that is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found it insightful, maybe even a little motivational, and I will see you in my next video. Hello group number two, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the red jasper group number two. So group number two, let's first talk about why you chose this mineral. So the red jasper is a very gorgeous stone. It has this very strong red color and it feels very earthy, okay? Which fits perfectly with the meaning of the stone. So you may have chosen the red jasper because it is known as basically the blood of the earth, because it is such a grounding stone. It is deeply connected to the earth and the energy of the earth. So as I said, that may be a reason why you ended up choosing this mineral, but let's move further into your reading, group number two, to figure out exactly what you need to hear right now. Okay, so group number two, within your reading, we have intuition, we have the door to spirit, the man holding a coin, the thinking man, action, awareness, the cow spirit, the starfish spirit, the wasp spirit, as well as the chameleon spirit. So group number two, I want to get straight into your reading. So one thing that I see here instinctively, we have the man holding a coin as well as the thinking man. So group number two, one thing that I feel within your reading is the fact that maybe there is a lot of masculine energy going on right now, and what you need to hear from me, from the universe, is to tone it down a little bit. So that may be the reason why you ended up choosing the red jasper. That may be the reason on a deeper level, the fact that you need to ground yourself a little more and that you need to get yourself a little bit into a space where you have more feminine energy. So even if you are a man, it doesn't really matter. You can still have too much masculine energy, just like a woman can be too feminine, you know, have too much feminine energy. So with the masculine energy, you want to make sure that you use feminine energy to balance it out. So use things that you do a bit more intuitively. Allow yourself to be a little more dreamy. Allow yourself to give yourself time for self-care, as well as to develop what you truly feel about situations before you act on them. You know, really think about your emotions, really think about how they affect situations before you go out and take action. Because with too much masculine energy, it could be that you're acting very impulsively, that you're not allowing yourself to think things through properly before you actually step out and do things. And I see that, you know, right now with what is coming up for you, it is so essential for you to take a little step back and reevaluate in order to not mess things up. Because sometimes when you make impulsive choices, they can have lasting effects, even though you made that choice in a split second. So take action when it comes to that. Take action as in not being impulsive, but taking action as in focusing on your femininity, as well as focusing on giving yourself time to evaluate how you truly feel. And in intuition, that is something that I highly recommend for you to train. I highly recommend for you to train listening to your intuition, to sort of train yourself to figure out, what does my intuition sound like? What does my intuition feel like? Does it say something to me? Do I see a light flashing before my eyes? What do I need in order to know, like, this is my intuition speaking and I can actually listen to this? So I want you to listen to the whispers of your heart, so to say. I want you to trust in your intuition right now, no matter what, because I know it can be really scary when you felt like you've trusted your intuition in the past and it's led you astray, it's led you down a path that you did not want. And in awareness, I want you to see that this is something that can happen when you're not completely sure what your intuition feels like. I want you to build that up. I want you to look for signs of guidance. And I also want you to be very conscious of your thoughts, you know? Once you're conscious of your thoughts, it makes it a lot easier for you to steer them where they need to go, because sometimes you can be so focused on just doing and going and not taking any breaks that you forget to just think about, you know, what really needs to be done, what is really important right now. In this day and age, it is so glamorized to be overworked, to never take a break, to almost be close to a burnout. You know, it is something that is put on such a pedestal, but we forget that it's balance that really makes us thrive. Balance between work as well as being able to rest and to rejuvenate and recharge. So allow yourself to open that door, allow yourself to open that conversation. That is one thing that I see in the door to spirit. Give yourself time to be very conscious of what goes on in your head, and whether you're just trying to be busy and just trying to get as much as possible done, or whether you're trying to be effective. You know, those are very different things. You can be busy and get a lot of things done, but they may not be that effective. And with effective, I mean effective as in taking further steps towards your goal. So make a little list of what you have to do each day, and then think to yourself, is this really effective, or is this just keeping me busy? If it's just keeping you busy, then put that as one of the things that you do after you've done everything that makes you effective. So if you know that, for instance, working on a project, doing homework, whatever it is that you know you need to do to be effective, to get a step closer to your goals and your dreams, prioritize that and make sure that all the busy work, all of the things that you do when you feel overwhelmed with all that you feel needs to be done, make sure that those sort of habits, that you push them to the side. So group number 2, I hope I'm not confusing you. With those types of habits, I mean, for instance, some of us, when we get nervous, when we see that we have like a heap of stuff to do and it feels overwhelming, some of us watch TV, some of us eat, some of us clean, some of us just basically try and do anything else to just procrastinate and not have to face our fear of this huge workload. And I want you not to fall into that little trap. I want you to make sure that you get yourself out of it. And I want you to be aware that that is basically just keeping you occupied, but it's not allowing you to be productive. And it's just something that goes on in your head that will only make things a lot harder for you to actually get from point A to point B, because so often the things that we're afraid of or that we're procrastinating doing aren't really that big of a deal. So if you need to make that phone call to make an appointment at the hairdresser, at your bank, if you need to, for instance, pay that bill, those are all things that you can do in like under 5 or 10 minutes. So if it's something that you can do in under 5 minutes, do it now. Don't procrastinate. That is one of my top tips. In the wasp spirit, I want you to know that it is essential for you to stop procrastinating the little things and allowing them to build up, because if not, you will be sitting here next year thinking to yourself, wow, I didn't get that much further. But you'll also think, wow, of course I didn't get that much further because I didn't get out of my comfort zone. I didn't stop procrastinating. I just kept doing the same thing that I always did with just minimal change, and that is going to sting. That is going to make you feel sort of unaccomplished, and that is why you've tuned into this reading, and that is why you need to hear from me in this reading, and you need to hear these messages from the universe. It is all because the universe wants you to know that you have to be open to all of the possibilities that there are in your life, and you have to know that miracles are endless once you actually start to take inspired action. And as I said, by action, I mean action that you have thought through, action where you're like, okay, this is going to actually get me a step closer to my dreams, my aspirations, and this is actually going to open up more of the infinite possibility that I have in my life. So really be honest with yourself, group number 2. If you know that you've been pushing things around that are in the 5 minutes and under list, okay? Just cluttering up your mind. It's just putting sort of this unnecessary weight on you, unnecessary weight on your chest that you need to get rid of. Last but not least, in the chameleon spirit, at the beginning, it may be a little bit hard when you start to balance out this energy and start to really look in the mirror and say to yourself, am I just trying to look busy, or am I actually busy? Am I just trying to get a lot done, or am I trying to be effective? So I want you to just act as if you know what you're doing at the beginning, even though you may not be 100% sure with each and every task, whether it is the right thing to be doing. But as I said, just follow your intuition and allow that gut feeling to guide you. And if you feel like you're not 100% sure what your intuition feels like, I have a video on that I will leave linked down below. So if you want to figure out a little bit more about what your intuition may feel like, make sure that you watch that video. Group number 2, I definitely want you to be open to possibility. I definitely want you to allow yourself to balance out all of this masculine energy in order for you to make informed decisions and informed steps forward, in order for you to be productive, in order for you to actually get closer to your goals and be not only productive, but also effective at reaching your goals. So group number 2, that is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the zebra jasper. So group number 3, let's take a quick look at this mineral and why you may have chosen it. So it has this beautiful sort of zebra looking coloring, so that may be why you felt drawn to it. But another thing about the zebra jasper is the fact that it is said to improve the quality of your skin as well as your bones, your teeth, and it allows you to direct energy where it needs to go. So if your energy has been sort of scattered, you know, here, there, everywhere in the universe, and you just really need your energy to go in one direction and to be focused in that direction, that may be why you've chosen the zebra jasper. But group number 3, let's move further into your reading to figure out exactly what you need to hear right now. Okay, so group number 3, within your reading, we have trust, we have journey, we have the thinking woman, we have yin and yang, all tied up, celebration, the koi fish spirit, the eagle spirit, the otter spirit, as well as the butterfly spirit. So I'm gonna get straight into your reading about what you need to hear right now. So one thing that I see that you need to hear right now is the fact that you need to just trust, and you can trust. So if you're somebody who is kind of like a control freak, who kind of likes to have everything planned out, set out, gently organized, or at least have, you know, a rough plan or a rough idea what their next thing is, then you need to lay that off a little bit, okay? I feel like you're just stressing yourself out by thinking of what if scenarios. What if you don't pass this test? What if you don't get this job? What if you don't get a promotion? What if you aren't never able to buy your own home? What if you can't start a family before 30? You know, all of these questions Of course, these are just examples. You probably have your own what if questions, but what you need to hear and what I'm here to tell you is that you just need to trust, and you just need to let go of any of that fear and sort of any of those feelings that are making you feel stressed out, that are making you feel like, oh my God, like maybe I'm not doing something well enough. Maybe I'm not taking enough action. Just trust that things will work out. I mean, things have worked out so far in your life, so things will continue working themselves out. So if you're at a crossroad, or if you're somehow in a situation where you don't believe in yourself as much as you could, allow yourself to just trust and allow yourself to focus on the tasks at hand instead of worrying about what may be in the future. So in All Tied Up, that is one thing that I see. I see that there is a naughty situation. With naughty, I don't mean like bad naughty, I mean like tied up naughty, you know, very tangled up in a way that there's friction, in a way that movement is restricted. So restriction, that kind of tied up. And that is what I see within you, group number 3. And that is one thing that worries me and one thing that I want to discuss with you. So in All Tied Up, I see that there's something that is holding you back, that is not allowing you to move forward or actually move at all. And in your head, it may really be stressing you out. You may feel like your hands are tied, or you may sort of feel like you just don't know how to free up these restraints. And being in that situation can be very uncomfortable, and you may have willingly put yourself in that situation, but you may have also been forced in that situation. So in All Tied Up, I definitely see that mentally you're hyperactive, there are things going on, you're worrying, you're thinking about the future, you're thinking of your upcoming steps, but just sort of the actual physical getting there is restrained right now. So how you can allow yourself to free yourself to get out of that situation is through celebration, the thinking woman, as well as yin and yang. So let's start off with celebration. So one way how you can get yourself free of these restraints is through sort of celebrating every little positive outcome. So every little thing that works out successfully, every little thing that works in your favor, celebrate it. Don't take it for granted, and don't allow anybody to minimize it. Don't allow yourself to minimize it, because oftentimes we think to ourselves, oh, you know, it's just a teeny step. Meanwhile, other people are making huge moves. Other people started with little moves also. So do not discriminate your little moves. They're just as deserving as when you actually start seeing big results, because big results only ever happen when you've been able to do all of the little steps in between and around. So enjoy all of your achievements, celebrate all of your successes, and don't discriminate them depending on how big you think they are or how tiny they feel. So moving further into your reading, one thing that I see in the thinking woman is that somebody who is maybe older than you, some strong female figure in your life, will be able to help you set yourself free from this tangled up situation. So if you need to journey, then do it. If that person lives far away or is somewhere where it might take you a little while to reach them. It could also just be that this person is super busy and you're going to have to make an appointment to actually speak to them on the phone. You know, if this person is a businesswoman, just somebody who is very occupied with their life and the things that are going on in their life, then make that appointment, because I see that they can give you new sort of insight, new outlooks, and they can sort of really balance your thought process. That is what I see in yin and yang. Balance is something that you need to get yourself out of this restraint. I see that things are super imbalanced right now. There is some sort of energy, there is some sort of chakra within you that is out of balance, and in order to truly be able to regain balance, I feel like you need advice. You need somebody who has been in that situation, somebody who understands. So if you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to at this point in time, or there's some sort of reason why you can't reach them, pick up a book with somebody who has a similar life story to yours, or who has gone through something similar but is now in a spot where you want to be in the future. So you get what I mean, group number 3. Pick up an autobiography, maybe listen to interviews. Maybe they have a YouTube channel. Maybe you feel really inspired through somebody here on YouTube. Soak up that inspirational energy, soak up that motivation, and allow allow yourself to know that you're not alone. That is one thing that the Otter Spirit is here to say, group number 3. You are not by yourself. Even if you can't reach somebody at every time of the day or each time you're sad, you don't necessarily have somebody right in front of you that you want to speak to. That does not mean that you're alone. That does not mean that you're all by yourself in this world. There are so many people struggling with the same thing that you're going through, and there are many ways how you can feel supported and you can feel loved. So don't deny yourself of that just because the type of support that you wished for isn't right before you always when you need it. Allow yourself to tap into different ways of feeling supported and loved when you need it. So in the Eagle Spirit, I want you to know that your spirit has your back, okay? There's a reason why the Eagle Spirit showed up in your reading, and it is here because your guides, the universe, want to let you know that your spirits have your back. It's just such a comforting, warm feeling to know that the universe has our backs as long as our intentions are pure, as long as we're trying to put out positivity. So knowing the Koi Fish Spirit that there's always enough, okay? As long as you put out positivity, as long as you put out thoughts and actions of abundance, it'll come back to you. The universe and this world is not a situation where, abundance, happiness, joy, love is limited. It is not like that at all. What is limited is, resources. But at the same time, some of the resources you can create yourself. So time is, for instance, a very valuable resource. And obviously, if you're just busy all the time, then that resource is being used up on whatever you're dedicating it to. But if you want to free up more resources, if you want to create more, then that is something that you can do. But obviously, your lifetime is in a way limited, whereas other resources, like for instance money, like for instance love, that is where there's infinite possibility and there's always enough. So time is in some form limited, but at the same time you sort of control how it's used, and there are many things that are unlimited. There are many things that there's always going to be enough of. So choose very wisely how you spend the things that are more or less limited in order to get more of the things that are limitless. Moving further into your reading, group number 3 in the Butterfly Spirit, I want you to know that the transformation that you will be going through shortly is beautiful, and it is definitely worthy of you embracing it and not putting yourself in a situation where you're depriving yourself of happiness. Know that life is constant transformation. Know that life is constant change. That is the one constant that we have in this world, is the fact that things are always changing. So embrace it. Don't allow change to be something that stifles you. Don't allow change to be something that maybe ties you up, scares you, keeps you confined, because change is happening all the time. So if you want to live a life that is stifled, that is not free, then obviously, if you're afraid of change, that is what will be happening. But if you want to live your life more freely, if you want to live your life in a way that you're just soaking up all the abundance that is around you, in a way that you can trust the universe and just be confident and be happy, and allow yourself to embrace change, to welcome change, and to know that it is something that you can't avoid. So you might as well find a way to enjoy it. You might as well find a way to make the best of it in order to continue creating your dream life. So group number 3, that is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the white Aragonite. So group number 4, first and foremost, let's take a closer look at this mineral and why you may have chosen it. So the white Aragonite is a super beautiful, a little bit almost milky, sort of iced white stone. I would say it's in between clear and white, definitely. So the white Aragonite is known to help with spiritual purification, as well as allow you to be calmer and flex those muscles of forgiveness as well as compassion. So maybe that is something that you've been struggling with, or maybe there is room for improvement, or maybe compassion and forgiveness is something that you deeply crave from somebody or a situation within your life. Either way, let's move further into your reading, group number 4, in order to figure out exactly what you need to hear right now. Okay, so group number 4, within your reading, we have the Sanctuary, we have Financial Constraints, we have the Angel of Balance, the Magician in the Mirror, the World, Prosperity, the peacock spirit, the flamingo spirit, the koala spirit, as well as the dog spirit. So I'm gonna move straight into your reading. So figuring out exactly what you need to hear right now. One thing that I see is that in the sanctuary, what you need to hear right now is that you have to take time out for yourself. So group number 4, you may be a very selfless person, you may be an empath. There may have been a lot of responsibility put on you, and you're the kind of person who's like, okay, if I can help you, I'll help you. If I can do somebody else a favor, I'll do them a favor. And you completely forget about yourself and your needs. You may have also just dove into work in a way that you now just can't get out anymore. You're so used to being overworked, you're so used to constantly being busy that it's hard for you to just sit down and switch off. And that is something that I can truly empathize with group number 4. I find it very hard to just sit down and do nothing, except of course when I'm procrastinating. So high five to that. So group number 4, I'm by no means trying to encourage you to procrastinate, but you know, it's only human, and I think we're all guilty of it. So one thing that I see is that you have to spend more time by yourself, and I mean really by yourself, okay? Not sort of watching something, not procrastinating, actually spending time taking care of yourself. So take that time for a manicure, a pedicure, do it yourself, take a bubble bath, allow yourself to just have time where you can switch off and where, like I said, the motive is not procrastination, because that is not what I'm talking about with the sanctuary. Because when you're procrastinating, you have bad feelings, you know, you have negative feelings because you know you're procrastinating and you know it's something that you shouldn't be doing, but you're still doing it. So obviously that is something that is sometimes just normal, that is unavoidable, but at the same time, you have to take control of when you spend time just not doing the things that you have to do, and you have to make sure that that time is spent in a way that you can recharge and feel good about yourself, and then go into the next day refreshed, or the next hours, whatever it is. So in the peacock spirit, I want you to groom yourself more, group number 4. So I feel like maybe you've been neglecting your appearance. Maybe you haven't been doing the looks that you've been wanting to do. Maybe you haven't been wearing the nice clothes that you've had in your closet for the longest time, but you've never worn them because you're like, oh, they're too nice. I'm just waiting for the right occasion to use this item of clothing, to use this perfume, to use this beauty product. Don't do that, group number 4, because something new is always going to come along. Fashion and just times change, and you're going to find something new that you think is beautiful, or you're obsessed with, or you think is amazing to own. So use what you have, make use of the things that are in your life, and don't allow them to go to waste, because sometimes you're just so in this sort of headspace where you want to save things for later instead of just allowing yourself to look good with it and allowing yourself to use it, that so much time passed by and all of a sudden, oh my God, it's expired, it's out of fashion, it's just not usable anymore, or you found something better. So don't allow that to continue happening, because that is also wasteful. But moving further into your reading, one thing that I see in financial constraints is that if you've been going through a tough time, or you sort of feel like you can't get to that next step in your life because of financial constraints, know that this sort of mindset, this sort of habit of being too stingy with yourself only makes the financial constraints worse. What will help your financial constraints, what will allow you to reach more financial abundance, is abundant thinking. So when you think big, when you think in a state where you are one with your finances, where things flow, where you know exactly what you have, exactly how much you're spending, and exactly how you can manage things, that is when, you know, abundance comes to you a lot easier compared to when you're afraid to check your bank account, or you're afraid to even think of the future financially. So don't allow money to be something scary. Don't allow it to be something that just sort of puts you in your place because you're like, oh my God, this is such a headache subject. I don't even want to get into it. It is so important for you to delve into money, to truly get to know money, if it is something that you want more of, or if you feel like you can't truly afford your real lifestyle yet, the real you yet, if you know what I mean. So I definitely see prosperity is on its way. I see an increase in income, but you have to start managing your finances with love, because sometimes we have extra money, or there is money there that we never knew of because we have not been managing our finances with love. We have not been paying very close attention to what comes in and what goes out, and where there may be a little leak, you know? I mean, things like, for instance, credit card fraud, stuff like that, it's all real, it all happens, and when you don't pay attention, it can sometimes already be too late, and then you're in this huge sort of fiasco. Trust me, I've been there. The angel of balance, I want to let you know, well, the universe wants to let you know that you need balance. Of course, you have to sort of allow yourself to be realistic about what you can do financially, but at the same time, balance it out by dreaming big. Balance it out by seeing the world as your oyster. That is what the universe is here to tell you. Do not limit yourself to thinking like, okay, well, I've saved up $500. I guess I can't buy, property with that and start being a property tycoon. I mean, everybody needs to start somewhere. And where you need to start is by building more revenue, building more businesses. So if you don't have money right now that you can invest in order to make more money for you, group number 4, then start by, amassing more money quicker. So if you're not saving as much as you would like to, instead of feeling bad about it, or instead of allowing it to make you just feel deprived or unhappy, do something about it. That is the only way how things are going to change. So what's the alternative? The alternative is to do something about it, or then, the alternative that I meant that would have made sense for me to say is to just continue doing what you've been doing and continue being worried financially or feeling not quite satisfied. If you get that paycheck each month and you're sort of disappointed and you feel like your time is worth more, it probably is, it most definitely is. So in the Magician and the Mirror, I want you to create your own path to wealth and success and happiness. So money cannot buy happiness, obviously, but money can make things a lot easier and can make more moments happier. So what I mean with that is, for instance, if you're in a really bad rut and financially you don't even know how you're going to pay your rent, and emotionally you're going through this rut, through this argument, or through this really tough time because maybe you've broken up a friendship or a relationship, obviously not having money and not being able to pay your rent is going to be 10 times worse than having money and knowing like, okay, at least financially I'm secure and I can treat myself to a thing or two. That will make you feel so much better emotionally. Obviously, it can't buy back the full happiness, but it can bring you to a level where things aren't so bad. You see what I'm saying, group number 4? So if that is something where you feel like you could improve in, if finances is something that worries you, start working on it, because the more you know, the more power you have. Knowledge is power and knowledge is money, because the more knowledge you have, the quicker you can turn it into money, which is power. So last but not least, we have the dog spirit, the koala spirit, as well as the flamingo spirit. So I definitely want you to embrace the now. This reading has made you felt like, oh my God, like I have so much ahead of me. I have so much that I need to do. I should get on my feet and start, but it's so overwhelming. I want you to not feel overwhelmed, okay? This reading is not here to make you just feel overwhelmed and procrastinate even more. This reading is here in order for you to hear that you can embrace the now, you can embrace the starting point, the realization of, aha, maybe I do need to push myself a little further financially. Maybe I am worthy of more. Maybe I do need to create my own financial abundance. And maybe I do need to use those products, that clothing, those things that I've been setting aside for a special moment. The special moment is now. So embrace that. Embrace every little in between, and don't think to yourself, oh, I'll only be able to embrace it once I'm at point X, Y, and Z. Don't allow that to happen. Allow yourself to feel guided and to feel safe, that the universe and your spirit guides have a plan for you, because that is what I see in the koala spirit. But what you need to do is just follow what you love. Follow what you feel like you can be loyal to. That is one thing that I see in the dog spirit. You have to follow the things that you absolutely adore doing. You have to follow those things until success. Be consistent until success. And that is one thing that I also feel like, for instance, you can see with YouTube, when people are really passionate about their channels and the things that they do, when they're consistent and they continue doing what they love, that usually then results in success. It usually results in more and more people seeing that passion and the fact that there's love there. So whatever it is that you're doing, maybe you're also interested in doing YouTube. I don't know, it's just an example, but whatever it is that you're interested in doing and you love it, make sure that you put consistency behind it and that you continue being dedicated to what you love, because that is the path that will lead you to success. That is the path that will lead you to the abundance that you've always dreamed of. So group number 4, that is a reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and I hope that you found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading.